guess that's my cue. Okay, so welcome everyone to the regular meeting of the Board of Library Trustees, meeting of May 14th, 2024. The time is 6:05 p.m. and I'll invite Ginger to call the roll.
All right, Trustee Ando,
Here.
Trustee Cortez,
Here.
Trustee Kyle, Trustee Lee, Chair Vadot,
Here. Increase the volume a touch. Awesome. Okay, thanks. I'll invite Ginger to explain how the public can participate in this evening's agenda.
Thank you, Chair Vadot. This meeting will be held in person and is being recorded and streamed live to Zoom at the link on the agenda. You may participate in person to provide public comment. Each speaker will have 3 minutes. You may also submit your comments by email by 4 p.m. on the day of the meeting. We are offering closed captioning for this evening's meeting on Zoom. Select the live transcript button on Zoom to enable this feature.
Thanks, Ginger. So we'll move to the first item on the agenda, which is approving the regular meeting minutes of February 13th, 2024. If anyone can remember that far back.
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Well, seeing as there's no one with full participation and no comments submitted, I assume.
Nope.
All right, then
No.
Ginger, can you call the roll for a vote?
Sure, Trustee Ando,
Aye.
Trustee Cortez,
Aye.
Trustee Kyle, Trustee Lee, Chair Vadot.
Aye. Okay, thanks, Ginger. And seeing as there's no attendees, we'll move on past public expression and go to item number 2 on the agenda, which is special presentations. And the first presentation is about the Reading Buddies program by Perla Maciel. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, great.
So Perla Maciel is one of our interim supervisors. So she's here. She's been running the Reading Buddies program for a while now. And I think we presented on the Reading Buddies about 2 years ago when we rebooted it after COVID. And so this is kind of us coming back, telling you how it's going and yeah, giving a little update on that. So I'm gonna, oh wait, which computer? Share the screen on this computer. Thank you.
Sorry.
Great, thank
Over to
you.
Perla.
I'll let you know when we switch slides. Okay, so, again, my name is Perla Maciel. I'm interim supervising librarian, leading the CERC department, and I have been working with the Reading Buddies program since 2022 when we relaunched. And this is a little update and a little bit of background on the program. So we could switch to the next slide. So a little bit of background. It's a volunteer reliant program. It supports emergent readers in grades 1st through 3rd grade. It started at the downtown and Pickleweed libraries in the spring of 2016, and since then, it continues to be in very high demand. It resumed after the pandemic restrictions were reduced in the fall of 2022. And it will continue through the upcoming downtown library renovations out of the Pickleweed and Northgate libraries. And so just a little background on how it works. So parents sign up their child via telephone or walking into any one of our 3 branches. And staff there signs them up to a wait list, and then we Reading Buddy staff get in touch with parents and sign them up for a slot. An adult volunteer is then paired with the reader, and they're in grades first through third. They have a weekly 30-minute standing appointment where the child reads to the adult. The child then checks in each appointment of theirs with the staff on desk. The volunteer greets the child and the parent, and the child chooses their book that they'd like to read, and the volunteer then hears the child read aloud to them, and they support them with any troubles they might have, like sounding out words or excuse me, with any comprehension. And then they read for 30 minutes and their appointment is up, and they see each other the following week. And so a little bit about our volunteers. We have 14 active volunteers. One of them is a substitute, but they are very active. There's, so many volunteers, they often have spots to fill. The majority of these volunteers, they have been volunteering with the library since we resumed in 2022. So they are awesome. They've been with us for a while. And most of them, they read 1 to 1.5 hours with the same 2 to 3 kids across 1 to 2 days per week. And some of them even read 2.5 to 4 hours per week with anywhere from 5 to 8 kids. They're not trained literacy tutors, but rather they're enthusiastic listeners who encourage and offer support to the readers. Like I mentioned, with reading comprehension, learning to sound out words. And each of these volunteers, they are first interviewed by library staff, and then they go through the city's background check process that is facilitated by the HR department and the police department. So they support us with that. And a little bit about our readers. So they are beginning readers in grades first through third, and their reading levels vary from severely behind to any at grade level or even above. Typically, the ones that are above are not very many, but we have had some come through, and then some kids that are pretty behind, and so this program is really great for them. And most of them come from homes in which English is not the primary spoken language at home. And when we resumed in 2022, we had 46 children participating in the program. And since then, participation has increased to 54 children, where we're at now. And so a little bit about the Reading Buddy staff and what we do. Right now, the main staff that works on the program is Cheryl and Alejandra at Pickleweed Library, and Perla and Lee at the Downtown Library, and staff who are at the desk. Downtown, would be at the kids' desk, and Pickleweed there at the main desk. And we do anything from scheduling children to open slots. We organize and assist with parent meetings. We maintain the wait list, keep track of attendance, communicate with the parents, and with volunteers. We communicate the weekly schedules to them and any changes. And we manage volunteer coverage for vacation and sick leave. So with the downtown renovations coming, we have a plan for the 2024 fall session that's coming up. So we have some action items and the timeline for them. The first on the list is we planned for the fall session considering our staffing, the downtown library relocation, and how to continue and further support their children and families. And we have completed that, and there'll be more details on that ahead. We'll be emailing volunteers this week to inform them of the renovations and the relocation to the Northgate Library. And we will call for volunteers who would like to read at the Northgate Library. Then down the line, the second week of August, we will call families who are on the wait list waiting to be scheduled. And as the weeks go on that month in August, we'll call families to remind them of the start date, which is September 3rd, the day after Labor Day. So for the fall session, some plans and changes that we have are, like I mentioned, we'll be starting September 3rd, and then this session will end on November 22nd, just before Thanksgiving, and we will break for the month of December. We will relocate the downtown portion of the program to the Northgate Library with only 1 to 2 volunteers and up to 4 children. And that is due to space and operating hours constraints and staffing. We will have program days of Tuesdays through Fridays, and children will receive 2 appointments per week rather than 1. So we want to be able to support them a little more, being that we're going to make some reductions there. And so we'll be going from 2 4-month sessions per year to 3 3-month sessions per year. So even though we're giving kids, 2 days per week, being that we're shortening those sessions and adding an extra one, we hope to just continue serving as many kids as we have been during the year, just kind of cycling through them a little bit quicker. Let's see, some of the challenges that we have with the program is limited capacity to train the volunteers. But the snapshot that you see here is a really handy handout that our librarian Lee created. It's really detailed, helps the volunteer with conducting the appointment, and also resources with, tips on how to read with the child and just support them with their reading. Participants can sometimes be unreliable. So like a lot of no-shows or, persistent calling out. And so to address this, we've started in-person parent meetings, and that has really helped. We feel that it really kind of stresses the importance on the program and the policies surrounding attendance. We give them a card with our expectations, and it includes the policies like, 2 no-shows and they forfeit their spot, or if they have multiple call outs, we would have a conversation with the parent regarding their schedule and kind of go from there. More challenges are parking at Pickleweed Library. Lots of the kids are local there. But we can't guarantee a parking space anywhere after 3 p.m. on the weekdays. So most of our volunteers who are driving in, they start by 3 p.m. and some of them by 3:30. So that helps a little bit. Staff coordination across the branches can be a little difficult, but we do what we can, communicating by phones, Teams, email, and shared documents. And then, of course, noise and physical space constraints in the library. And what we do to try and, help with that is, volunteers and children have their regular spaces that they read, and the staff tries to make every effort to keep the noise levels down. And then, of course, the rewards. So the kids, have consistent practice with their reading, which, just really helps them out with their literacy. Research shows that children who read 15 or more minutes per day have accelerated reading growth. We really see the improvement in some of our children's, with volunteers reporting back to us, how much they've improved, the parents just, being so grateful and letting us know of all the improvements they've made. It enforces that reading is pleasurable and the library is a safe and positive space. It really brings families into the library. When the kids are reading, the parents might visit the adult area upstairs, just kind of get a really good feel for the library. And then we continue to see them even outside of Reading Buddies hours. And it allows us to educate the parents about ways they can support their kids with reading in their own language at home. And also what's great is they have positive intergenerational and intercultural relationships, and we're really building community with the volunteers, the kids, and staff. And that's it for the presentation. Thank you.
Thanks so much. I'll turn it over to trustees for comments and questions.
I have two questions. First, are there kids and families who are served, are they required to be residents of San Rafael?
They are not, but we've found that they are all from even like just local San Rafael City schools. I met a parent once that lived in Novato that was looking for a program, and we were going to go ahead and let them join. Of course, had a conversation about how they would get there, if they could actually make the appointments, but we did refer them to the Novato Library, which has a similar program. And so they ended up, I think, probably going with them.
Second question is, I noticed you indicated that the fall program at the Northgate location would be Tuesdays through Friday, if I remember correctly.
At Northgate, we would have it for, I believe I'd have to look at my notes, but it's not Tuesday through Friday. It would be.
Right, good.
Yeah, I want to jump in here because I think there's probably Perla is doing a fantastic job trying to plan for the fall with limited information as to what our operations are going to be looking like. I think as our downtown operations become more clear of how we're going to be able to operate, what the hours are there, what our staffing is going to look like, there could be a conversation around Northgate hours and days open. If we have more staff than we really need at a smaller downtown location. So that I think you're kind of getting into some other bigger conversation.
The assumption that Northgate is gonna open up on Tuesdays, I guess is my question.
And yeah, that's something we haven't talked about as staff yet. I think but that's part of the things.
Right.
Some of the things I'm thinking about when looking at kind of staffing and where will all of our staff go, and how can we continue to serve the community when the main.
That would be the desire, obviously, but.
Yeah, and I think,
Okay.
I think there's also a conversation to be had whether there could be a more limited Reading Buddies program downtown once we know exactly what that'll look like. But I think, yeah, Pearl is trying to go ahead with what we know we're gonna have.
Thank you.
So based on that, well, Perla, thank you for sharing. So you're clearly, scaling down. So what's the anticipation of how many kids you can do this fall?
So right now downtown we have it's split pretty evenly. So we have at the moment 44 kids. There were 10 kids who kind of like switched out due to attendance. So it's about, let's just call it 22 kids. So we may reduce pretty significantly. I'd say like at least, let me see, at least half of the kids that were coming to downtown. But like Catherine said, I think that as we, do the relocation and see what our space will look like, what staffing will look like, we hope to be able to serve as many kids as we can. So, and on that, with Northgate, if we were to keep the same hours, then there's like a limited capacity there for that. But hopefully, we can ramp up as we have more information about what our spaces and staffing will look like.
Yeah, and we'll have that information in time to recruit volunteers as needed for whatever locations were and dates and times. I'm hoping we'll have a really solid plan before the July library board meeting. Even maybe the June one potentially. And I'm planning to talk about that more in my staff update.
So you already heard any questions?
I know, we can talk about it, you know, it's all connected, right? But
Any other comments, questions? I was just, oh,
Go ahead.
no, please, go ahead.
I'm just forming two questions, like, I'm a couple of the curiosity, sorry, I missed the first half for your presentation, thank you. Is there, because I remember when my kids are in Santa Fe City schools, there's a experienced volunteer group were always there, and also we had particularly several parents actually came every week to do the reading buddies for the English learning students in the classroom, because they are not keeping up with the rest of the students. I was wondering if there's a library talking to, Bahia Vista School, for instance, if there's a volunteers working there to provide a similar service. And I could, even not experienced corps who will work with the library.
are you asking if we're kind of coordinating with the school district on finding volunteers?
Yeah. And I think experienced corps, I don't know how actively there's a members to volunteer. So how much resources they could spread it out, even if they're helping with the library.
I think I can answer part of that, Sonny, because I'm part of
Yes,
the,
I remember
both,
that.
there's two programs right now in the elementary schools. One is Experience Corps, as you indicated. One is 10,000 Degrees, which
Oh.
also provides reading. They work directly with each individual school and the
Mhm.
teachers in those schools.
Mhm.
So there's no direct connection between those and the library, but they're obviously doing the same sort of work. It's a little more structured at the schools
Mhm.
because there's a specific program around both Experience Corps
Mhm.
and 10,000 Degrees, because they're working with the teachers and identifying students who need that help.
Yeah.
This is more where the parents are coming to the library to ask for additional help. So, no, there isn't coordination, and I think it would be difficult to do that because, again, there are almost three different organizations working here. I hope that answered your
Yeah.
question.
And another thing, I remember how participants didn't show up. There's traffic's going crazy. Sometimes I have been in that situation. It's like it just doesn't work for get there in 30 minutes. For 30 minute reading buddies for my kid, programs happening. I signed up, but it's just one feasible in a way. And I understand that. And I wish there's a more, if the participants in Santa Fe, near the Santa Fe downtown, have to go Northgate to continue the participation. I don't know how they gonna, bike to Northgate or, but the car ride is just, it's really hard. 3:30, it's just, I just avoid driving basically at that point. So I hope there's a Northgate participant could participate. It might be more practical, in my opinion. Or we could have like a satellite place somewhere, not particularly in the library, but if reading outside on the lawn or somewhere nearby bench or something in the park, it could work. Because that's what we did, the parents, reading buddies at school.
If we, if, as I mentioned, if we're successful in getting a downtown temporary location, which I believe we're close, we're very close. Then we would be looking at having that there as well. And it is gonna be winter, so outside is tricky. But yeah, I think we're aware that, and having it at Northgate may open up opportunities for other kids
Yeah.
And if you don't wanna travel down.
Yeah.
So.
And I remember like there's a two no-show, then you will lose your spot. And I totally agree, because it's the volunteers there, if there's no show, it just is so many resources getting not utilized. So I definitely, there should be accountability of participants, just for the, for the volunteers' sake of their time and energy to try to provide that. But same time, I want there's some way to like, encourage them to show up instead of punishing them. It's like I remember like elementary school kids, like you get like 5-star dots, like then you get to the prize pool or something at the end. So you don't miss every single meeting all the time. Then you get to in the pocket of like you get a gift card for like some ice cream shops or something. So not everybody gets it maybe, but if you get a donation from ice cream shop, or you get all the stickers, like a 20 stickers you get, then you get a ice cream gift card or something, then maybe kids will be, I need to go, mom, I have to get a sticker or something like that. Yeah, that's it. Thank you so much.
I was gonna ask you, I noticed you mentioned that there's like an intergenerational aspect of it, so I was just gonna ask what the demographic was for the volunteers. Like, are they like just other parents, or they do like or older folks in the community? You're on mute.
We have a good mix of volunteers. We have several who are retired and participate in many other volunteer programs. We have working folks who one person who works from home and lives right down the street from the downtown library. Yeah, a few working folks. A parent who frequents the library, brings their kids, and they came in looking, to see what volunteer opportunities there was. So yeah, we have a good mix of volunteers.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
On to item 2B, presentation on the summer reading program, delivered by audience. Oh, yeah, that one's back.
Pearl, I was gonna say, if you don't wanna hang around, you can hop off and enjoy the rest of your night. You're welcome to stay if you want, but don't.
Right. All right, thank you. Thank you all. Nice to meet you.
Thanks, Pearl.
Stairs are like falling, like you're gonna fall down.
If I smell, you could just.
Oh, that's better.
Makeup.
Not like-
You don't have to make up.
I can feel that. All right, let's see if I can do a little. Get the presentation
Can I
going
just
more.
take a moment and apologize for a one-car family? My husband just took the car and I was like, oh my God. So I'm sorry I'm late, but took the Uber. Thank you, Marty.
You weren't the only one.
Oh, right, this is all. Right.
Yeah.
So she's another one of our interim supervising librarians here to talk to us about the summer reading program, and she's predominantly at Pickle Weed. But helping out all over the place right now.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Alejandra, and now I'm mostly in charge of the People branch. I've been working for the library for the past 13 years. And the last 3 years I was a librarian. Mostly I'm in charge of the Spanish services, collection development, outreach, the schools, visiting, story time, everything, bilingual. So, and today I have the honor to talk about our summer reading program for this year, 2024. So, before that, I would like to talk about why we do it, why it's important for us to do it. So there is some benefits that it's been showing and the American Library Association has in the webpage. So I try to resume and put the most important points here. So one of the most of the benefits for the kids are we encourage that the reading becomes a lifelong habit. The reluctant readers can be drawn in by activities. Reading over the summer helps children keep their skills up. Also can generate interest in the library and books, and can use be good fun and provide opportunity for family time. And we have some important facts. Some by a research by Johns Hopkins University. Numerous studies have shown that reading over the summer prevents summer reading loss. Children living in poverty are more likely to lose reading skills over the summer than children whose families are more affluent. Some researchers estimate 50 to 67 of the achievement gap for the children living in poverty and children of colors are the result of summer learning loss. Summer reading loss is cumulative, so children don't catch up in the fall because the other children are moving ahead with their skills. Kids by the end of the 6th grade, children who lost reading skills over the summer are 2 years behind their classmates. So there is some important fact that we consider that we need to help the kids keep reading in the summertime. Our summer reading program, we can divide our program into important categories. Like one is for independent reading. So the kids, we provide the reading log and they keep the reading at home. So we suggest to read 20 minutes per day and they will mark in the reading log. And the other part of the program, the summer reading program is the programming. So we try to bring a lot of activities, programs, passive programs to enrich the summer for the kids. Who is our main audience for the summer reading programs? So there is 2 more important groups. Hopefully we can have more teenagers and adults in the future. But the independent readers in the school age are primary audience for us. The children read on their own, report what they read to the librarian or in the reading log, and they will receive some kind of reward or certificate at the end of the program. So that is the again element in this program. And the other audience is we have baby, toddler, and preschool age. So effective library programming permits young children to touch, manipulate, create, and experiment, combining active programming like companion craft, games, projects, and passive programming like listening to story, watching a planner board presentation. So that supports the unique development needs of both pre-readers and beginning readers. So this year, as last year, we did a partnership with this City of San Rafael schools. So we partner with the librarian, with the school district, and we want to provide the reading log to all the San Rafael students. So in that way, we will reach 3,500 students. So everybody's gonna have a reading log at the end of the year, and they're gonna take it home. So for those students that they don't go to San Rafael City School, they can go to the library and get a reading log. Or sometimes they forgot, sometimes they lost it, so they can ask for another one. So we will have available in the 3 branches. This is other partnerships that we been created. So we work with Marin County Free Library with other programs. We've been partnering with Learning Bus that it belongs to MCFL. trip for kids that provides the bicycling trips for kids, very popular. With marine parks. Last year we had a visit to Stanford Lake, and they provide the lunch, the transportation, so the families are be able to join a one-day visit to the park. Everything included. Oh, cool. And the other one, very nice partnership that we've been doing is with One Time. So now this summer, we're gonna have the visit once a month. They're gonna have visit people with library outside in the community center. They're gonna party band, and they're gonna be there 10:30 to 2:30 every month. And they're gonna have craft, they're gonna open the bus for questions, and they usually have a story time for the kids, so it's gonna be fun. This is one of the reading logs for 2024. So we have two teams this year. So we have this one that is more like nature, adventures, and we have it bilingual. So we have it in English and Spanish. And they want to put the stickers with the nature theme. And we're gonna have this one, So we have both teams, so they can choose whatever they want. And they wanna, every day that they reading, they wanna put that star as stickers. When they complete 20 stars, they complete the program. And this is our Canva bag. So this year, in the past year, we provide a book, a free book, but we realized that not many kids came to get the book. So we ended up to have most of the books. So we wanna do something new this year. So we wanna give that Canva as a giveaway to say like, just fill out with books and take it home. And this is the other big part of our summer reading program is our program. So in the first picture, you can see like this picture it was taken in Picklewood Library at the end of the summer. And we have numerous families, all kids, all ages enjoy the program. So this year, library staff plan diverse like free literacy, art, recreational, and cultural programs. So between 3 librarians, we plan 40 programs for this summer reading program. So it's gonna be exciting. And these programs includes puppet shops, magic shop, bicycling, park trips, drawing classes, and special story times. And this summer, we're gonna have a big pride event in collaboration with MCFL. And we are gonna give backpacks to give away for kids up to 5 years old. So we do every year in partnership with First Five and MCFL. Okay, so what is the cost of the program? So usually, this is a tentative amount, but the friends of the library, they support us for all summer reading program. So all the, reading logs, programming, prices are less than $10,000 for this year. And most of them friends of the library over that amount. They are very generous with us. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you so much, Alejandra. Trustees, any comments, questions?
I would love to ask, so you're at Pickleweed it sounds wonderful and very rich. Is this at here as well? Is the same kind of programming downtown?
We do 43 branches.
For the 3, okay,
Yeah.
okay, I just wasn't sure. That's wonderful.
And
then
40 is across all 3 branches, not just.
It's a lot of planning with all the trips and the art and the engagement and.
it is a lot. It is a lot.
Is that all your job? You have lots of librarians helping with all the coordination of the scheduling and
Well,
talking to them?
to give you know, a lot of credit, it was mostly our children's librarian in downtown that she organized most of them. So Lee and I, we help her. But
And some of those programs are also adult programs, so we've got other librarians like Bonnie and William and.
yeah,
It's a-
they
it's a
have,
team.
it's a team, yeah.
It's a team effort,
Yeah.
for sure.
It's, yeah, I think everybody helps to coordinate and planning because as Evelyn said, it's a lot about timing, location, coordinate with the person, yeah.
Word out.
Exactly. This year we tried to keep our story times for the special story time. So it was another factor that we have to accomplish. So we try to have, you know, people with have a story time every Tuesday at 10:30. So we're gonna have something special for this day or this time. So that gets a lot of more planning over the top, but yeah, we get it.
Wonderful, yeah. great.
I have a question, or actually a question, but a comment. I think I'm correct on this. You're allowing or you're inviting kids from the San Rafael elementary schools, at least in the early grades, to come into the library now to get some books to get them started in this program. Is that fair? Because I think the kids in my class are going tomorrow to the library. They're at San Pedro, and they're second graders. Is that, or am I just completely off on that?
We start the reading program one day after the officially they finish
Oh, okay.
the classes and then, yeah.
Never mind,
Then
I
the
will.
official day, but they always will come to get a books and at this point, they haven't received it really low.
Is there some program at San Pedro that you were doing? I saw some email going with like a parent night or.
Yeah, on
Is that-
Thursday, we have the family lesson, she haven't covered, but we have the family night out on Thursday, yeah.
I don't know if that's, maybe sounds different.
Yeah, I was just thinking that this was the kickoff to this program, but it
Yeah, we
sounds
can
like
maybe
this is
time
separate.
it with kind of the end of the school year. I know like a lot of the school librarians at the end, at the like, you know, end, oh my gosh, what's it when all the kids come together? What do they call it? Assembly. At the you know, the end of year assembly, they'll give out the logs and encourage them to go to the park or to the library.
All right, got it.
Yeah.
Alejandra, thank you. I love the summer reading program, as my kiddo does. I've seen it shift every year. I'm really surprised that kids aren't getting the books. I know every year my kid loved the books, but before it was like candy and then it was like trinkets and then it was like, so I know it changed here. So I hope this is successful in some way, or, you know, because I feel like at least with the little trinkets, it got people to like come in and do more and get like a little, I mean, they were like,
I
No,
remember
those
when I was a
top
kid, I
I don't
got like
remember.
stickers or.
yeah.
No, oh, I totally agree with you. We've been, you know, I think we got to a point that we had a lot of prizes and then we got to get just the book. So for this year, because, you know, the lack of staff and also like, we want to focus this year about more on programming. So we just decide to give like a gift prize, like it was the bag. Because people also have been asking about it because we give them like maybe 5 years ago, maybe a bag. So that's why we mainly decide to focus this year more about programming, to spend more in programs. Or also like the things are different since COVID, like after COVID, like we tried, I I like to adopt a phrase for, I talked with a coworker for the learning bus that for the libraries in summer, after COVID, we try to bring joy to the families, an opportunity to get together, embrace, socialize, because we have been seeing it that our kids are lack of that because of COVID. So our main focus is community building, bring joy. So we can do it through our programming. So we focus more this year. We provide that.
Funds for that.
We would like to do everything.
Right, yeah.
I think also one of the things we talked about with the bags in particular was that they would maybe appeal to all ages so that. You know, there's some adults could be like, oh, I kind of want one of those too, and
Do adults do the reading?
no, you know, they bring their kids. It's just, I think for everybody.
Book club and just.
We can use them for other purposes as well.
Adults love big tote bag.
I know, it's true. I mean, although my 2-year-old loves tote bags, she just is stuffing everything in them, so. We like the idea of fill up a bag and, you know, enjoy your summer.
But yeah, totally agree. It's like even the small things, but yeah, we will consider.
Yeah, I think a little small thing gets them halfway there or something. I just remember, especially in the younger ages, it was like, they wanted to come in to get. There was like, I mean, like a shelf full of like,
Yeah.
I don't know what to call myself for tchotchkes. Thingamajigs. Yeah, true, exactly.
Nice job.
Yeah,
Really
thank
nice.
you.
That's all that the library means, is that community and the joy and with the reading, you know, but
Yeah.
it's very intergenerational, it sounds like, and disciplinary.
Yeah, and also, you know, I think in our communities, our families are always like looking something special to do in the summer time, so they always ask about what is, and most of them they are expecting, you know, when it's gonna come, you know, when, or they always ask about the special programming for summer.
Yeah, and I know our goal is hopefully in the next week or two to get out some kind of marketing flyers that have all the, we're still like throwing deep, you know, throwing last minute events in, so I know our staff member is trying to organize the marketing is like, stop, but but it'll be
This
good.
week I was like emailing, please confirm the date.
Yeah. Yeah.
When will the logs be ready?
The logs are already ready, those
They're
we've
ready.
got, we're talking about, we're putting together like a count, like a
Oh,
flyer, with
calendar.
all
Yeah.
the fun activities in one location. And that we're still working on the last minute details for.
And that will be on your website too?
Yeah, we'll be pushing,
Something like
I have a feeling, over the next couple of, next month or two, we'll probably be doing more e-blasts than perhaps we typically do. Have our website updated with all the information, and then, you know, of course, flyers at the library.
If at any point you want me to give them to like the Miller Creek School District, I can give them to the
Yeah, I
schools
think
there.
probably that's going out, the school districts have been great about partnering with us and, you know, sharing the information.
Yeah, 'cause a few of them, you know, still do the Friday folders, you know,
They do Friday borders still.
in a few schools, not all of them,
Few
yeah,
schools.
like Vallecito does. I don't think Mary's Silvera, but
Some
Lucas
schools
Valley,
now
yeah.
just turn it into peach jar,
Yeah.
which is not being read.
oh, we don't do page.
Yeah, it's, I mean, I could totally see the pros and cons of this, because even the paper you come in Friday border in elementary school, it's kind of necessary, because the elementary school is kind of a, but once it become like a middle school and even
Oh, it's the elementary.
elementary school is, I
Yeah.
think it started to turn in, I can't remember when actually they did the shift. But the paper, making copy, putting in, it was such a labor intense for the volunteer parents. I think teachers just got to the point, like, just gonna do this. But, thank you so much for the hard work. I have a couple things I can't find when I was blanking. I think we are competing with TikTok. I mean, really, because I love that idea of parents bring the kids and there's a togetherness of it. You should start copying someone's. That's aside. So it's, personally, I did that so many times, like bring the both kids and just go run around, do whatever in the library. I sit down, take a break. And I think I did that in the summer sometimes. It's like a constant every day, but they come in, they just, go through the comic books, whatever, and if there's program, it's even better. And I just sit and read. There is a program, the classroom, whatever the crafts, sushi making, candy sushi making, and all that stuff. And I just really love the time. Yeah,
Yeah, we, the past years, we are having we call passive programs. So we usually have crafts that they can do it into the library. So besides to get the books, they can do something fun,
Yeah.
or they can to have home,
The
to take
kids.
it home, yeah, the kids, yeah. So that part is been really popular, I think, because they can do whatever they can besides to get their books, and or they can take it home, and then the mom can take a break.
Does the library have like a designated person to actually post it on like some activities photos, even from the previous years, like I remember like a Yelp or something, like Google Maps or something, you just post it. And like some people actually watch those. This event is coming up, like there's an event coming up, but it has to be posted by the organization need to post it. Then it'll be spread it out. I don't like to rely on those commercially oriented companies.
Yeah, I mean, I think we promote a lot through our newsletter, which is based on our card holders. So I think for us, that's the best way to really target and make sure that folks are interested.
Okay.
And we have a large number of library card holders. We have, our library card drives have really, the partnerships with the schools have really done a great job at that. So that is primarily how we get the word out. I think we have a lot of partners that we're gonna be working with as well. So, yeah.
Are they gonna be like raffles or prizes at the end for the kids? I mean, it get like business donated from the downtown, shops and ice cream parlors or whatever.
Not this year.
No, this year, yeah, we thought about it, but we don't have the capacity this year for
Yeah.
that.
Soliciting is not a work.
It's
Like a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's another part of it, yeah. We would like to, like, but no, we have to be more realistic what we can met this year.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Moving on to the last special presentation, the updated designs for the downtown library renovation.
Yeah, that's me. So I know I've been trying to get this in front of you for a while now, and
Waiting it.
I really want to talk about it. So, we are now at a point where the construction documents have been submitted to the building department, so we're not really at a point where we're gonna be able to make a whole lot of more changes. But I think there are some changes that have been made that both address points that were made by this board, by staff, as well as just as the consultants were investigating the facility further, found some constraints that we had to work around. But I am really excited about where we've landed with this. Okay, how am I gonna get this so everybody can see? So these are kind of the most these are the design plans that were for the most part submitted to for permitting. So this is the kind of layout, the proposed layout of the downstairs floor. So I think some of the biggest changes that the community will notice, and I'm really focusing on the design changes. I'm gonna tell you the bulk of the budget is gonna be going to roofing, to HVAC, to electrical, to, accessibility. A lot, the restrooms and the plumbing associated with that are also a big cost, but A lot of it is, we're really trying to make the most of what we can with limited budget. Recognizing that really some of these critical life safety infrastructure things are big ticket items, so. So, I think we are wanting to make some improvements to the entryway is obviously kind of the first thing people see. It sets the tone for the building. So we are gonna be kind of cleaning up the furniture that's in there. Unfortunately, those big posts that are right in the middle, and there's just not a lot we can do about them. They either structural or they have electrical wiring in them that we just weren't able to remove. But the plans include some nice sort of like face out book shelving that can have displays and just has a nicer look and feel. Getting some more intentionally sized and designed furniture for the self-check machines. And then what I think currently the children's, the entryway to the children's is about here. And that partition is non-safety glass, is a non-safety glass wall. So that needed to be removed anyways. And then right over here is kind of that where Ginger used to sit and is now just kind of an empty closet. So we're gonna be removing those walls, pulling back the entryway to the children slightly and making it a transparent glass that will have a nice kind of woodland design on it. That design will kind of wrap around into the building. I know the original design had kind of this large service desk downtown. We moved away, or downstairs, we moved away from that to kind of a smaller, more flexible space. That's gonna be kind of where this person, our library aides, sit, will be moved back there, get them out of the draft, but they do have clear, we had our designer come in and look at the line of sight, they'll have clear line of sight and be visible as people walk in. We also did kind of reintroduce the desk in the children's room, so we will have a desk there as well. I think, the main stacks in the children's room are gonna remain, but this area we're going to be kind of switching out with more flexible shelving, more flexible seating so that we can do programs here again. And have that be kind of more, just honestly, one of the big keys we were looking for in this whole process was more flexibility, where we could move the furniture around to accommodate different uses better. We have limited space, and so the goal is to be able to use that more kind of for more diverse programs and services. So part of this is also reopening this program room. And in order to do that, we had to find somewhere else for staff to go. So there is going to be some changes to the staff area. Currently, there's a massive ramp right here that takes up a really large amount of space. So we're going to be installing the lift in its place so that we can use that kind of for the staff that will be displaced from returning this to a programming room. We'll also be adding another bathroom downstairs. So I know a lot of this is kind of the same, but I think some of this entryway looks different from what was presented before. And some of the kind of concepts for the children's room as well. So then moving on to the second floor. I think a lot of this hasn't changed a lot since we originally presented it to you. I think a lot of the design will be focused on the entryway and then the Carnegie room. I think, that's really kind of the jewel of the library, and something that no matter what the future use might be, will be a space that, we want to kind of restore it a little bit more to its former glory, as it were. So, I think one change we realized, so I think originally we had moved the memory lab, but the equipment in there, and there's some like data IT stuff in there that we weren't able to move. So we are going to maintain that as the memory lab, but replace the doors with kind of with a glass door they have a nice design on them that I can share, I believe. So that'll kind of let light in, just create a nicer space. Oh, we'll be opening up these walls here. And then again, kind of in, replacing the fixed stacks with more mobile shelving that can be pulled back to the walls for programs and events. I think the other main change from the last time, again, we'll be adding another bathroom upstairs. And I think the main change from the last time in this, the addition, we discovered that right about here, there are some, so I think the last one we presented, the staff space remained the same and we were kind of just expanding the teen area out here. What we discovered is there's some pipes that go through the end of one of the stacks that we can't move, that are HVAC pipes. So, and we also were looking at right now, there's all these open, large exposed vents over the stairway. And that needs some improvement. And we also have discovered that our HVAC provider is unwilling to continue to maintain those because accessing them is extremely challenging in their current location. So we'll be, we're gonna be changing the configuration of the staff room so that that wall where the pipes are will now kind of become this south wall for the staff area. The teen space will be expanded back into where the staff area currently is, and this will become kind of an HVAC maintenance closet so that those pipes and that HVAC unit can be both out of the public view and in a place where it's safe for maintenance. So, I think the other big things that were in the original plan, but I just want to highlight again, is that, this includes moving the public computing over here to kind of free up the Carnegie to be really more of a quiet reading space. So, I think I've got a couple other, and I haven't really looked at these lately, but some renderings, let me pull back a little bit. Of just so you'll see kind of, there'll be more kind of aligned color. These are those face out shelving units that will be installed. On the back of this one here, we'll still have the 3D printer, but it'll kind of be on a more permanent fitted piece of furniture. So this kind of gives you an idea of what the entry to the children's will look like. So it'll be glass, but we obviously don't want people running into it. And it's nice to kind of have a design or a theme that will kind of go throughout the furniture, have some stroller parking over here. And staff are still we haven't yet determined what collections are gonna be housed where. But this is kind of a new collection space that we can utilize maybe for, Lucky Day or bestsellers or something like that. New releases.
Are those shelves on your left?
By the way,
The bookshelves on
Yeah.
the left, that's for collecting?
for collections.
collecting
Yeah, the
the whole
whole will
item?
still be in the same, the whole will
Okay.
kind of basically still be the same.
But this is just for children's section books? maybe?
We haven't really discussed that yet. It could be. Potentially, I think we'll want to think about what it is. But the children's area actually isn't, there isn't any proposed reduction in shelf space in the children's area. So we might want to relocate some other, because there are other areas where we're gonna be reducing the linear footage slightly. Overall, it's not a huge, I think it's like a 2% reduction. It's not huge. So this is kind of some of the themes that were inspiring the Carnegie Room. Kind of the color palette. They pulled some old historic photos of what it used to look like. So this is the Santa Fe Carnegie back in the day. So one of the things they were looking at is the original kind of herringbone wood floor. And they're hoping to replicate that, not with wood, but with a herringbone kind of carpet that's similar a similar texture as we currently have, but kind of goes a little bit more with the aesthetic and the coloring. So this is kind of now and the proposed palette. And the lighting will be changed, and we won't have these overhead fluorescent lights. We'll have kind of more tailored, you know, I think the like quality and quantity will still be the same. Or better, ideally better, is what we're going for. And then, so this is the memory lab, and you can kind of see the doors are kind of, that's got a mount tan. I thought they were gonna do a tree there, actually. I think we're not seeing it very well in this picture. Yeah. Yeah, actually, there, I think, yeah, I'm not sure this one, I've seen ones that they've had that were a little bit better. And then this is some restroom tiles. Yeah, so that's gonna be more practical. But, yeah, I don't know if you want me to, so I think that's kind of the plan, that's what we're moving forward with.
That's great.
Could you go back to the main children's layout for a sec? Like, yeah, like off to. Where the service desk is?
Yeah.
Off to the, if you're sitting behind it, off to the left of it, there's like that little tiny, like.
Here?
Hallway, other side, sorry.
Here?
Yeah, well, into that little room, if you. Right here? Like, what-
Yes,
what is
this,
it? Yeah, what is that?
so that's the lift
Oh, okay.
down to the staff area, and then it's just the ADA accessible.
Yeah.
place.
Okay, it's.
Yeah.
Circulation, so I was just.
Yeah, it should probably be recolored pink.
And then, the programs room
Mhm.
there, where's the? Well, how do you enter? Do you enter from the main kids area?
There's a door right here.
Okay.
Yeah, there's also a door on from the kids, but I think we would probably direct people this way, unless it was a kids program, but even still.
Gotcha.
This is kind of easier. So there will be some signage that we'll need to kind of think about.
So moving the glass entrance to the children's room, moving close to the flash to that program room.
Yeah.
So that you guys, the children's room losing the storage closet?
Yeah, that closet will be going away. So we are, well, I mean, that
Side
hasn't
space,
been
the
closet for a long time. Gender's been working out of there for a long time. So, it's currently, Gender has found a new office in Falkirk, which I hope he's enjoying. The background definitely looks pretty nice, yeah.
Moving on up.
Yeah, so he's got a nice space at Falkirk. But I believe it's empty right now. Which is a concern. I mean, it's, you know, when we've got limited space, storage capacity is challenging. And it's sort of like, well, do you want to have storage or do you want to have, you know, programs and offices and a meeting room? Would you rather have a meeting room or would you rather have storage? And that's it's a tough balance. So that's something we're working on. And we're kind of cutting down as much as we can on, you know, we got rid of a lot of the books for summer reading. We donated them through our Rural Community Clinic partnership and are, you know, finding uses for the stuff we have. But yeah, it's a balance for sure.
Catherine, can you go a couple of slides? There's a line of sight question I have down further. Yeah, this the one before. So when you come, this would be the door you come in. This is the main door.
You know, I think that
It's downstairs.
it's a little bit in from the main door.
Okay,
Are you
so-
asking about what the one is set?
Exactly.
Because we
We
did,
talked about that.
yeah, we
or-
did specifically ask them, like, is that desk gonna be within line of sight? And they
Right.
said, yes.
Okay,
And now I know it doesn't look like it is. So, you know, I think part of it's,
it's not, yeah, it's just,
but you know, and this is something we kind of went back and forth a lot with the designer on, and where we landed was asking for furniture that's all pretty flexible and mobile. And if the way it's laid out in these plans turns out to not work for us, if staff don't like having their kind of back, you know, in the children's room, don't like having their back to the wall, to the window, or it's, you know, it's all things that we can move around once we're in there and we're in the space for a little bit and see how it goes.
I want the librarians upstairs, I'm sorry.
No, that's.
I like to have librarians upstairs, because that's the other main room.
Yeah, there's
The
that
desk
desk
there.
is unchanged. It's the
Okay.
same desk that's there
Okay.
now.
Because I remember specifically there's a reason they moved that. Like a welcome desk for the person you walk in behind the staircase. I think it's too far away to me. Not necessarily if I or first time library visitor, I would not necessarily go all the way behind the. You know, staircase to talk to the library.
Right, well, you know, I mean, that's Marlene, our current library aide. And I think the idea behind that, the person in the lobby is not that they're gonna be standing at the desk at all times. You know, she's out, she's kind of managing the hold shelf, she's helping people with self-check. But you know, I'm gonna say she's only there, she's our only staff that works at that desk. And we don't, I know when we originally closed the circulation desk, it was an adjustment, people. You know, had mixed feelings about it, but I'll say since I've been the director, I've never heard anyone
Oh, no,
complain or anything about it. I think people get used to it and you know, when Marlene's there, it's great and she's very helpful and when she's not, there's the other desks that people know how to find and.
So I thought when you were presented last time, let's talk about. There's no more children's room librarian inside the library anymore.
Right, and
Because-
we moved away from that.
Yeah, so now there's nobody in the children's room to sort of help out.
No, there will be there's a
Oh.
staff desk in the children's room.
Okay, so that's not what I heard last time. So that was
Right,
the reason.
that has been a change.
Okay,
That's through
got it.
conversations with
Yeah,
staff
no
and
problem. I have no
feedback we
problem.
received, we moved away from that and there will be a desk in the children's
Okay,
room.
that's good.
Yes,
Great.
yeah.
Because I thought she's the one in front of the children's room, is the also guarding the
No,
guarding the.
no, there's a
children's
second
room.
staff
Okay,
in the
okay, got
children's
it.
room as well.
Then I don't care.
Okay.
Who is there or not there.
Kevin, what are it looks like the children's room lost some space, but you said it was only just a little bit, but it seems like it lost more, especially on the right side.
So I mean, so right now, it lost a bit of space here. I would say the walls probably, because this is the entry to the staff area. And you figure the wall is probably somewhere here, so it has lost a bit of space.
Okay.
What?
1 meter maybe, like.
Yeah,
This much
yeah, when you go and look, it's
Yeah.
like maybe half a,
above that wall.
Doesn't seem like that significant, like.
not
there-
really.
okay.
And I think with the way we've kind of reconfigured the shelving. My understanding is that the shelving in the children's is not. The linear feet is not being reduced. And we'll kind of have more flexibility to actually have more open space for if we want to do story time in there.
It just looked like right behind the desk,
Yeah,
that
there
blue
is.
spot, like that
yeah,
whole, like where
there's
the little
that-
kids.
Yeah,
look
where all the board
much-
books
Yeah,
are.
looks much smaller.
Yeah, it's not really. Well, I mean, it really is
Like,
just
maybe
kind
just
of
the
a couple.
picture, but it looks really
feet.
small, like,
I think it's a perspective.
oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I do think it's the perspective on, kind of, cause we're angled away from it. I've spent a lot of time standing there. Like, looking at, okay, this is where the wall's gonna be, where are we cutting, and
And
it's
it's such a good space for the little ones
It
to
is,
kind of like you know,
Yeah,
eat the books, put the books in their mouth, you know.
Right. And again, we
So they
may
cannot
end up
escape.
kind of
Yeah.
changing some of where these these are all mobile shelving. You know, there's also, it's actually, now that I'm looking at it, there's these two, I think there's these two gray squares right here, but I actually don't think those should be there, so. There's like space behind here, I think there's a perspective thing.
Yeah.
Is there like bean bags or?
Yeah,
or
I think
little
it's
chairs?
closed off too, so kids, could,
Yeah.
like, there's only one way, like,
Nice.
you know. I
Nice,
just-
so we'll have to look at kind of
Cozy
how it
corner,
all.
yeah.
Where's the student library and desk?
That's this thing right here.
That's the one, very small.
People don't
Better
work
than
there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when they're out there, they're on the public desk, they're
Yeah,
serving,
yeah.
so that's not like their workstation. They'll
Okay,
also
yeah.
have a desk where they can have their things and space, so.
Catherine, will you be able to incorporate the automated return system as part of the?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about that, and I think that is something we're continuing to evaluate. We just recently had a staff meeting where some of our newer staff that work at similarly sized libraries that have AMH machines kind of raised the question of like, why are we getting one? Because our experience of it is that it takes maybe even more staff time to manage the machines than not. So I think that's not, I think we're just reopening the conversation, not to say we're not gonna do it. I still really
So
like.
it's in the budget.
It's in the
If
budget,
you want it.
if we want it, we have funding for it, it's included in next year's budget. The county is doing one, we've talked about going and doing it collaboratively with them. I think we wanna just, now that we're a few years out and some libraries our size have had more experience with them, I think we just wanna recheck on how is it, do a little bit more due diligence, how is it going for them? And also, are there places where it's going really well and the machines are really great and they really like them versus maybe some that are less less conducive to a library of our size. So I think it's still in the budget. If we find out that, there are folks out there that really like it and it really works and it does help save staff time, so staff can be working on other things, we will absolutely pursue it. But I think we just wanna validate that assumption
Yeah,
again.
given the current environment, if you can reduce staff time on the back end here, it
Yeah,
just seems like.
that's the hope, and I just wanna make sure that's actually what's gonna happen, cause it would be a real bummer to spend that money and then find out that it actually is not time saving, so, yeah.
I don't know if it's part of your, oh, sorry, I don't know if it's part of your presentation later, but like, so where are we in the timing? Like, are we on time? Are we on track?
Yeah, so do folks have questions? I can stop, I guess I can leave it up, it doesn't really matter, no one's watching. So we submitted the construction documents by the time, so we're shooting for September start to construction. Our hope is to do some of the HVAC work and some of the roofing work before that time, because we won't need to close for that, and it'd be really great to get the roofing done when we know it's dry and not gonna rain. So, our building department told us we needed to get our construction documents in the beginning of May in order to hit that timeline. We did. So for all intents and purposes, we are still on track. I think, the thing that keeps me up at night is what are the bids gonna come back as? Because I think, we have done our best to kind of limit and present a project that we feel we should be able to afford, but construction costs are just, it's just crazy, what construction is costing these days. So I'm hopeful, that we'll be able to, just kind of go the normal process. We get our permits, we go out for a bid for construction, we get bids that are within our budget, and we just move forward. I think that are we gonna be able to get bids within our budget is, I hope so. I hope that we've done the work.
How does Noel and Tam feel about this? Obviously, that's what they do.
Yeah,
We've
you know,
seen
we've
that.
started having conversations about like, okay, what are things we could easily cut out and maybe even design the bid packages at alternates. And so we have some thoughts on, you know, on where we would be able to cut some significant scope without having, with the minimal impact. Some of that is, you know, like the lighting in the staff area. Lighting is a huge expense. And some of it is code and that's stuff we need to do. And some of it is like, you know, moving to more efficient, kind of better, just better lighting, and that we may have to, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, I guess my question really
But
is,
we're trying to kind of come up with those alternative options now that we can pull the trigger on quickly.
because I assume Noel and Tam has seen your budget
Yeah.
and they've hopefully designed to be in that range. So I think that's
I
my
hope so.
question. That
Yeah,
that are designing to be that.
yeah. And then, I mean, aligned with this timeline, we are in conversations with a downtown business or property owner. I'm hopeful that by next June, we'll have a signed lease. And so then we can kind of be a little bit more, we are already starting to plan, like we're going into this space because time is running out, but you know, we can really be more public about it and commit to it. So, but
You mean by the next June meeting?
yeah, I mean, honestly, I hope by the end of May that we have a signed, I'm working with our attorneys on a lease agreement right now. I'm hoping to get that over to the property owner next week at the latest, so we'll see how long that takes.
I'm just, it's just something to consider as a, you know, your director. Can we just actually reduce the very minimum of the team room? Because nobody uses it?
Well, you know, I think that there's a conversation to be had there. Of why don't they use it? So,
I'm just talking to other libraries in other cities, and I've been visiting and just comparing, and I've been here almost every week. I look at from upstairs and I think I've seen like one kid in the last 4.5 years. Maybe my timing of the there is, but it's just something I realize it's something we could utilize as a like common room. It's like team could use it as well as, so we don't really need to specify that space as a team room. To me, I mean, that's my suggestion.
I mean, I think
It's a one person's idea.
a larger conversation. You know, our teen collection is
Oh, yeah,
fill the
great.
whole space that we have
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
So, you know, designating that as a space where teens can be and maybe have a little bit of space, bit of autonomy, you know, that's important. Teens don't want their books lumped in the children's room. They don't want to go in the children's room.
No,
But then there's also concerns with having, you know, it intermixed within the adult space as
Oh,
well.
okay.
So, you know, I think having that safe space for teens, that, you know, part of that is on us to do more outreach to our teen population, to provide more programming that brings them in. You know, I will say, I think I have seen more teens there lately, just particularly from Marin, I guess I assume they're from Marin Academy. But they're, you know, the first little while I was working there, I agree. There was only kind of one, maybe two. But recently there have been more that I'm seeing coming through and using that space. And I think that it is really important for teens to have a space of their own. And it's gonna be up to us to kind of do what we can to draw them in and to kind of provide more teen specific programming. You know, we did, this version actually has a smaller teen space than was in the original version. That's more because of those pipes than anything else, honestly. But you know, I think one of the things I didn't mention is, you know, originally we had the booth seating kind of in the teen area, and we moved those booths over here. Partly that was because we had the memory lab over here and now the memory lab's there, so we're gonna make these little table booths there. And that was a conversation we had, those table booths are gonna be an attractive place to sit, and it's gonna be a place that people wanna sit. And if they're in the teen area that isn't heavily utilized, you know, it's just gonna create conflict of staff having to kick people out of the space that that's really attractive and they wanna sit, but they can't because it's for teens only. So, you know, we wanted to make sure there was attractive seating in the teen area and space that they wanted to be, but we didn't necessarily wanna put like almost an attractive nuisance in there.
Some virgins.
Right, where you get adults that wanna hang out all day, cause it's a comfortable place to hang out, and so. It was a balance, and it was something we talked about, you know, how do we make this space attractive to teens? But also don't kind of invite this constant challenge of having to kick other people out.
Thank you. Move on to item 3, but there are no other agenda items, so.
Figured those presentations would take up enough
Yeah.
time.
The city, anything on the staff liaison reports on that?
Yes, yeah. I got to talk about a decent amount. I was gonna kind of give just the overall update on the renovation timeline and temporary operations, but I think we kind of covered that. We did also, city council approved the, agreement for an architectural services for the pickleweed redesign. So we will be working with Jason Architecture. They have they're a smaller firm, and they specialize in libraries, and they have a lot of really great experience. What we were really impressed by was a very similar size and scope projects, kind of smaller libraries with a smaller budget that were really focused on a redesign, enhancing the user experience and kind of being creative with limited space, and just kind of refreshing a space. So we're really excited to move forward with that. We're gonna kick off with the first staff meeting on site on Friday. And I would expect we'll probably come with just like an overview of the project to the board. And then as we're farther down the line, the designer will come and obviously present as well.
Is there displacement at all for that?
There will be, but we've tried to time this so that it won't overlap.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we wouldn't start construction on that until the downtown library reopens, but we are running up against grant
Yeah.
deadline, so I think it is gonna be a pretty close kind of like switch over.
Right. Wow.
But you know, luckily I do think there's a good chance it'll be over the summer months, and so we could continue to do outdoor programming there. The community center is still there, so yeah, we'll have to look exactly as we get farther down with the timeline on it is, but I think given that there's the community center still there and there might be more options for some creative kind of programming and services. I know that I had on the last 2 agendas kind of a MarinNet update. I figured most of that content was in the staff report. If you all would like me to kind of go over that, again, I can at a future meeting, but you know, MarinNet is looking at restructuring a bit. They had a vacancy in their system administrator position that we are going to be rehiring for that position. And then also depending, there is a strong internal candidate. So if that person is selected, then we'd also be kind of looking at filling that, and she's been in the interim role for over a year now. So we can't promise or foresee what's gonna happen, but you know, there is a potential that there'd be additional vacancies, and we're looking at how to fill those. You know, I think what we're seeing is MarinNet has moved from really focused on a shared collection to much more shared digital resources. Obviously, the shared physical collection and the deliveries and all of that is still a large part of the benefit we get from being in MarinNet. But we're also, but that shared digital collection, the shared digital resources, and the IT support that the member libraries need from MarinNet as a result of that, I think that, you know, we're looking at ways to restructure MarinNet so that they have more capacity to provide that IT support in terms of our, you know, our integrated library service software and kind of how we catalog things and making sure there's consistency in training and support for some of those more technical issues. So that's kind of a multi-stage process. First, we've got to hire kind of the top position that we're in that, and then we'll see kind of where we're able to go from there. Speaking of hiring, our assistant director recruitment opened and closed, and we had the interviews. So we had some really strong candidates, and I'm hopeful that as of next June, I doubt we'll have anyone on board just because of the, you know, all of that, but hopeful we will be able to share some exciting information there soon. Yeah. I know that I touched a lot kind of broadly on our summer programming, but I did want to highlight a couple of exciting events that I'm really excited about, and I'm really kind of proud of our team for putting together, which are just kind of new programs for us. And coming in June, on June 11th, we're going to be having a Juneteenth event. We're going to be trying to do a larger scale program in the Carnegie Room. It's a talk by John William Templeton, who's kind of considered like one of the leading authorities on Juneteenth and kind of the African American experience in California. So we're really excited to have him coming and speaking to our community for that. We will be also on June 14th having a local author talk with Anita Gale Jones. And then on June 15th, we're having a large Read with Pride event. That's a Saturday. It's going to be on the lawn and some of the park, and like we're going to be in the parking lot in front of the library. This is in partnership with MCFL. It's going to be from 11 to 3. We're going to have drag story time, face painting, DJ, snow cones. We're hoping to get a food truck. Still haven't gotten one confirmed, but if not, we'll have snow cones and popcorn. Art, you know, arts and crafts. It'll be a really fun, family friendly. That touch it where the fire truck's going to be there. The learning bus is going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So we're excited about that.
Make sure you have a lot of snow cone supplies, my daughter's softball.
You know, they're gonna run out. They told us they can only do 300 to 400. So that's where we're trying to get some other options.
For the line, they said they ran out.
What's that one that delivers? There's like one,
Kona.
That's the one they got purchased by Silver Shave Ice, and that's who we're having.
It's so expensive though.
So.
My daughter.
I know. They said they think they'll probably, so we're trying to find other options. So. And then if you all are familiar with the downtown library, you probably know Edward Bond, the artist that is often upstairs. So he's going to be giving an art talk on his recent project as well. I don't know. I can't remember the date.
Second time he's doing it?
He did one last year too. He did one last June. So he's going to be doing another one on his more recent project.
Can you tell me who was going to be talking on the June 11th? I didn't write that down.
John William Templeton.
Thank you.
Yeah, so this is all going to be tomorrow. There will be a check it out coming out with a lot of the details, and then we'll continue to promote the Read with Pride. We're not going to be promoting just yet because there's a little bit of a last minute partnership opportunity, and we're waiting for the counties taking the lead on the marketing materials. So waiting for some of those details, but we'll start pushing that out as soon as we can.
It's great.
So
Good state of June program.
yeah, we're excited. It'll be a fun summer.
So I remember when we do the scheduling, was it November, last year meeting about this year's schedule, we switched July to have a dark and August have a board
That's
meeting,
correct.
yeah, right?
Yeah.
And, so, next month, I won't be here because I have a family. My parents have to take care of things, so I have to be in overseas, so I won't be able to attend
Okay.
next month, yeah.
Yeah, if anyone else thinks they're not gonna be able to attend next month, let us know sooner. Because if we're missing one and.
Yep.
So let's just, I'd love to, we do have some things that are gonna be coming that, you know, I do think will be important for the board to learn about, and if we're not. Yeah, I think in June, if we're not meeting in July. In June, I would really like to be able to present on our temporary operation plan in a little more detail. Because if we don't do it in July, then we're in August and we're like,
If you,
There.
yeah,
I
we're
don't know
there,
if
so.
there's a meeting can be done the first week of June, then I could, first Tuesday or first Monday, I don't know, it's not allowed. I don't think it's allowed.
Yeah, I think that unless we think we won't have quorum. Then we would maybe if we're not gonna have quorum and we have some items that are time sensitive, then I think we would consider rescheduling, but unless. More people are gonna be out, I think we like to stick to the schedule.
Anything, item number 5, or you guys, anything, any events, conferences, et cetera, attended that you'd like to share about? All right, then, during the meeting, time is 7:41. I think that's a record for as long as I.
Yeah.
But that's like 3 meetings at once.
Yeah.
Thanks all.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.